So since we couldn't actually be out to the farm tonight, we thought we'd take a little tour out there. So it's a little virtual tour, courtesy of Google Earth, and they're gonna take us. Oops, well, maybe that works. Okay, let's see how this works. There we go. I hope most people can see out there. So there's the picture of Washington State, and now we're zooming into Tacoma. In a second here, we will be at the Student Center here at Bellarmine High School. There we are. Just out that window, I think, is the football field. And now we get on Highway 16, heading north, east, something like that. Now we're getting on to I-5. It's familiar territory for most people. We're going to take a little detour here up to the Terra Organics building. Right there. Yep. Probably missed it, but we did pass over the Terra Organics building. And now we're going to get wet. We're going to jump into the Puyallup. So here we go. We're in the Puyallup River, and we're going to take another short little detour. This is to Terry's farm. There's Terry's Berries, where Kim and I met. This will all be worth it, I promise. Once we get to Warding Valley Farms, you will be impressed. So right now we're going to jump on the Carbon River. Puyallup is the one that's going off there to the right, but now we're on the Carbon. There is all the beautiful tract housing of Warding. And then the downtown Warding area. And then we're going to get out of the river here in a second and get on to Orville Road. If you went off to the left here, you'd follow the Carbon River, you'd go up to South Prairie, but we're off on Orville Road at this point. And there we are at our destination. So this is the Warding Valley Farms. Okay, there we are. Now we got just a nice overhead aerial view of the Warding Valley Farms project, and we're oriented north at this point. So I wanted to talk briefly about why the project is so attractive, and it is, largely due to Kimberly Freeman's efforts at keeping this project moving. We are not the glue that held this thing together. We were just riding the coattails of Kimberly as she was marshaling this thing along, because it's kind of an involved process. There's this process that's the centerpiece of it is the purchase of the development rights. So the best analogy that I've heard so far, and thank you, Duncan, for giving me this material, is that anytime a piece of real property exchanges hands, there's a bundle of sticks that also come along with the property. So you're not only buying the land and the house that's on the land, but also a bundle of sticks. And each one of the sticks within that bundle represents a right that you are also purchasing. So in the case of a piece of agricultural land like this, there's water rights, there's, you can build so many dwellings on a piece of land. And part of those rights are to develop those rights. You can subdivide the property into 1 acre parcels and sell them off like many landowners did that you saw on our tour just north of the town of Warding there. And so this plan that's been put together, and it's financed through Conservation Futures grant money from the state, and also and then matching funds from the county, essentially pays the current landowner for those certain rights that are sort of if you will, antagonistic to the agricultural value of the land. So what's left is this property that has, the potential to be a working farm and has, sufficient water rights, and the landowners can do everything within certain constraints, and so they can't go off and they can't subdivide and they can't build McMansions, 10,000 square foot homes, and so that's the program that they've put together, is that the current landowner will receive a check to purchase those, those small bundle of sticks that's attached to the land, and then thereby reducing the price so that farmers like ourselves can go in and buy the farmland at an affordable rate. So this is a look at it's 100 acres, everything that you see there within the red outline. And the parcel on your left is approximately 38 acres, and that's the old dairy. All those buildings that you see is the dairy infrastructure. There's a small lagoon off in the northwest corner, and in addition to there's a small, up by the number 4 and 5, there's a small strip of 7 acres up there. And combined, those 45 acres is what we are calling Tahoma Farms. So I thought I'd share with you what our plans are for Tahoma Farms. And it's basically our marketing plan. And part of it's off the screen. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. We'll just have a 4-year horizon instead of a 5-year. So looking from 2009 to 2012, what you'll see is how we plan to market the product. It'll also show you down at the bottom how much of the land base that we're using in that year to be put into productive use for marketable vegetables. So it's, 2009, we're starting out with 1 farmer's market. We're going to have 50 CSA shares. CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. So it's the traditional CSA model is folks that want to invest in the farm. They want to contribute to the success of the farm. They make an investment at the beginning of the season before any of the crops are in, but at the time when the farmer is making plans for that year. So the farmer has seed costs and fertilizer costs, organic manure costs, I should say. And so the CSA subscribers or CSA members, they'll put down a large contribution towards the future rewards or production from that farm. And in exchange, they receive a weekly share of the products of that farm. So I think that's a pretty good summary of what the CSA is. And so Terra Organics, our home delivery service, it's sort of a hybrid of that. And we do this weekly box program, but it's not, it's not from our front yard. It's from other farmers that we work with, and we aggregate a bunch of product to put into one box. But a traditional CSA is everything that you receive from that farmer is from his or her own land, and they have that sort of you share in the risks and the rewards. Basically, is sort of the underpinning of that is you put the investment up front with the farmer, and you get your share throughout the year. So the idea is, to do a traditional CSA in the first year for 50 families. And the next line is